Is theft an issue for us on the urban farm? Are people running into our garden plots and stealing vegetables all the time? I'll answer that question and more coming up next on The Urban Farmer. Today's question comes from Tex Gal, and she was asking if people are coming into our garden plots or our farm plots and stealing vegetables and vandalizing the sites. And the answer is no. It's actually never happened. I've never had somebody come in and vandalize our plots. I did have one instance of theft once where I had a little old lady come into my garden and help herself to some cucumbers. I politely had informed her that this wasn't a community garden plot, that it was a farm plot, and she complied and it was fine. I actually let her keep the cucumbers. But that was the only time that I've had somebody come in and take vegetables, at least to my knowledge. You know, to be honest, we've got so much stuff planted on these plots in a bed of radishes. If somebody were to come in and take a few radishes here and there, I probably wouldn't even notice. So, not to my knowledge have I had anybody come in and steal vegetables or vandalize the plots. You know, to speak to the vandalization issue, I find that people overall really respect a garden, and they really respect hard work. And because I'm always on these plots working, people in the community and the neighborhood really get to know me, and I find that that builds a certain social, a certain level of social capital or social equity in those neighborhoods, where people in that community have a real sense of ownership and pride in what you're doing, and all of those people really watch it, and they're always stopping and looking at it. And you know, when you have eyes on a place all the time, it shows that people care for it, and that's usually something that drives people away who might want to do something that isn't as nice. So we've never had an issue for that reason. The other part of it is we're only growing vegetables that aren't necessarily as, what's the word, available to take really easily. So for example, my tomatoes, which would be probably the easiest crop you could just walk by and pick, are in greenhouses in backyards. So they're not really as visible. On my most visible plots, that's where I'll plant my salad greens and loose root vegetables and things like that, because very few people are going to get down on their hands and knees and cut lettuce or dig up some carrots. It's possible that they could do that, but if you really feel that that's that's a possibility, then you got to put up fencing, right? You need to fence in the area, keep people out of it. For myself, fencing is more of an issue for keeping dogs from running into our plots. But my front yard at my house, where I have a garden plot, is wide open. There's no fence, and I've never noticed anybody taking anything from there. So I think what it really has to do with is building up relationships in your community, in your neighborhood, and so that people get to know you and know what you're doing, and they'll look out for you, and you extend a little courtesy to them by giving them some vegetables every now and then. It's amazing how far that goes. So that's kind of my take on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If other urban farmers out there have had people running into your plots and stealing vegetables, I'd love to hear about how you've combated that or solved that problem. So leave some comments below, leave some questions below. Subscribe to this channel, share and like these videos with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Okay,